I have a radical theory about Bruce Willis that I'm not sure if it's true, but I'm noticing something a little suspicious because I've always loved Bruce. The Fifth Element is possibly one of my favorite movies. I think I've seen it more than pretty much any other movie except maybe The Goonies. So I love Bruce Willis. Love his movies, but I can't help but notice how of the last couple years after he was diagnosed with aphasia, that he has pumped out so many movies that it's insane. And it makes me wonder because about this movie, The Congress. So this movie came out in 2013 by an Israeli filmmaker who's a great filmmaker, and the whole movie is about, if you haven't seen it yet, it's about Robin Wright deciding whether or not she wants to sell her image to make future movies, and she can decide, no porn, no sci-fi, etc. But they put her in this room, they have her go through a range of emotions, they scan her from all angles, and then all of a sudden her image is everywhere, and they can make movies of her, they can make TV shows, they don't need her to do a thing. And so she sells herself, and she's having this debate whether she should do it or not, and everyone's saying it's the future of Hollywood, you have to do it. So movies tend to put out things that end up being real, so I kind of think this is happening with Bruce Willis. So what I've noticed here was all of his journey throughout his time started in about the 80s when he started being in shows, and when he was in his peak, moonlighting, he was doing a lot of TV shows. That's different than movies, but Look Who's Talking, boom, he just kept having hit after hit. And in his prime in 90s, 91, he was putting out 3 or 4 movies a year, which makes total sense. That's a good amount of movies for a star in Hollywood. 3 and 4, put in full effort, full Pulp Fiction. All these movies took time. 12 Monkeys, one of my favorites as well. It took him like a year to do that one, pretty much. So all throughout this time of his real prime career, he was doing a few movies a year, maybe pretty much maxing out at 5, maybe 7 or 6, but in his prime. And most of them were 3, 4, 2 per year. So as we start getting towards the time when he develops aphasia, you start seeing up to 10. Like in 2022, there's like 10 movies, and he's supposedly been diagnosed with this thing that, and if anyone knows anyone that has it, I happen to know someone that has it. The guy can't even paint anymore. He can't even hold a brush. He can't say like a sentence. He can think it, but he can't get anything out, let alone act a movie, follow a script, follow a director, do all this stuff. So ever since I've been noticing this massive amount of DVDs and movies coming out from him as an ever increasing throughout his career as his health deteriorates. Look at these years. Look at the amount. They start getting a ton of different movies. But 2019 is about 7 he was in. And no one's ever heard of these movies, too. These are all like super B movies. They're weird. It's like, it's as if someone sold his image and is just cashing in. And now the family is like talking about aphasia, and they want everyone to donate money to the cause. It just reeks of pharmaceutical interests and all kinds of other things. But look at this. Throughout these years, 2022, so many movies in that year, and no one's ever heard of any of them. And Bruce isn't, he's not a star, but he's pumping out all these movies like he's a young kid. Like it seems superhuman. And this isn't like a little tiny condition here. It's a really big kind of condition that really affects your thinking, your processing, your everything. And his has supposedly been taken to the next level. Reminds me also of Michael J. Fox and all these other kind of celebrity actors, Magic Johnson, who claim to have these intense diagnoses, and then everyone's like, oh, I can relate to that person. Oh, I might have that. I'm going to take this. This is the new, who knows? But I've heard some stories about that. I'm not going to dive into them here, but it seems like a lot of things are manipulated and just don't seem right. This doesn't seem possible that he could have a frontemporal degeneration and be pumping out more movies than he did when he was in his prime, able to do all his stunts, able to memorize everything, able to exist. And now it's not like he has a little kid. It's not like he stopped when he had kids and stuff, because he kept going, and now he's just doing more and more than ever. And so is it because of the green screen? Maybe they just have to put him in there a few times. But to me, it seems like a result of technology. Look at all these movies. Has anyone heard of any of them? Has anyone seen any of them? I think I tried to watch one of them once, and I was just like, yikes. He was like a small part. It didn't seem real again. Again, I don't want to dive too deep into it because it's not totally worth it. I just love Bruce Willis, and I see something weird happening. And I wanted to point it out to you all, like I did with Dave Chappelle, because I see weird things with that, and It just sticks with me. It lingers with me, and it makes me wonder because I love these people. They're great. I still watch their movies all the time, and to have something weird going on is just kind of, it stinks, but it just is kind of I don't know, interesting, because they're always trying to pull the wool over our eyes. They're always busting out new technologies. They're always doing weird things. And I have a feeling other actors are involved in this as well. And how far is that Congress mentality going, where actors, what's the price for Bruce Willis's image? I wonder, what would the family get for something like that? Are there any contracts around that show this? Is there anyone speaking out about this besides that movie, which was incredibly premonitionary? Who knows? But there's something here. There's something happening, and I hope Bruce is okay. I hope he's happy somewhere, and he's just kind of feeding the masses whatever, and he's just relaxing on some beach beyond the poles, just having a great time with the Fifth Element and the Mondo Chiwa and all that. That's what I like to believe. But again, who knows? Something fishy going on. Let me know what you think in the past, and if you've seen any of these movies, and what can account for a massive rise like this in production at such a interesting point of his life. Who knows? But I hope you're doing great out there, Bruce Willis, wherever you are, and I wish you the best. Bless you all.